So I'm sure if you guys have been on the internet over the last couple months, you've heard a ton about AI generated content, whether it's from, the Kwebbelkop AI situation we've actually covered here on the channel, where his old AI was making terrible content and it looked terrible. However, he's recently upgraded it and it actually looks kind of realistic. And there's been some other situations where like AI generated music has become a real problem, like on Twitter. I remember seeing a Drake song completely AI generated that blew up over on TikTok. However, AI generated content has finally come from MrBeast, and MrBeast has a big problem with it. So let's get right into it. So of course, I'm sure most of you know the advertisements here on YouTube have always been a little questionable. Sometimes you'll get normal ads and other times you'll get like, hey, click here for some free V-Bucks. However, fake ads like that promote scams have become more and more of a problem because AI generated content of celebrities and influencers have been making their way onto fake scam ads here on YouTube. And this initially got covered from MrBeast when he started talking about how there was an AI generated advertisement of MrBeast pretty much selling a bunch of iPhones for $2 a piece. So it's finally time to show you guys what the actual ad looks like, and tell me if you guys would fall for this in the comments.
If you're watching this video, you're one of the 10,000 lucky people who'll get an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. I'm MrBeast, and I'm doing the world's largest iPhone 15 giveaway. Click the link below to claim yours now.
We build this app, Aviator Flight, where everyone can win a minimum of 1,000.
Now, of course, if you kind of fall for this shit, especially at this point, I mean, you kind of deserve it. Obviously, I don't think anyone really deserves to get scammed, but I mean, this shit just looks so fucking fake. And of course, most people can tell the difference between AI generated, fake MrBeast speaking. But of course, there's a lot of young people on the internet, especially kids, that could easily fall for this stuff with no problem. So thankfully, MrBeast actually addressed this whole situation where he posted the AI ad and pretty much said, lots of people are getting this deepfake scam out of me. Are social media platforms ready to handle the rise of AI deepfakes? This is a serious problem. And I completely agree with him. Now, obviously, at that point, most of the comments are saying, if you're getting scammed by AI deepfake MrBeast, you deserve it. And I gotta say, to an extent, I agree. Obviously, this shit looks, fake as fuck. If you're on the internet enough to know who MrBeast is, I'd like to think that you'd know that he's not giving away, iPhone 15s for, $2 to anyone. And he's not, making an app where you can win $1,000 for nothing. I'd like to think most people know that. However, there are people who are gullible enough and will believe this shit, and I definitely think that AI generated content is going to become a real problem over the next couple of years, and we're going to get to the point where in a couple of years there's even going to be like full-grown adults that are going to be falling for this stuff because the technology has becoming, better and better. Pretty much what I've seen is it's doubling in quality like every 6 months. So 5 years down the lane, you might not be able to tell what is real and what isn't real. And this is definitely going to become a problem. Only 18% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. Don't be part of the 81%. Subscribe to the channel. You have nothing to lose, which is really troubling. If they're already falling for it in 2023, imagine 5 years down the lane. I mean, this could become a real problem. Of course, there are gullible people, and I'm sure most of the people watching this aren't, don't perceive themselves as gullible. Don't worry, guys. I don't think you're gullible, and I don't think I'm gullible. However, at one point, this content is going to get so hyper realistic that honestly, unless you're really, really paying attention, you might not even be able to tell the difference. So most of you guys, of course, know MrBeast. He's one of the richest YouTubers. He does major challenges where he like pretty much gives away money. And so of course this is what the AI ad was trying to replicate. They're trying to convince people that they were giving away iPhones for such a cheap price, and some people obviously believed in it because, well, it's MrBeast. He does that kind of stuff, so it might be real. So in this ad, it was AI generated MrBeast pretty much saying he was giving away iPhone 15s for $2 a piece. Now of course, I'd like to think that everyone who's a MrBeast fan pretty much knows this is completely fake. This does sound like maybe something that Mr. Beast would do. However, you should know, most Mr. Beast fans know he'd probably either give it away for free or do it in like a challenge. He's not going to be like, hey guys, I'll give you an iPhone 15 for $2 if you just enter your mom's credit card. Of course, most people could see that this was a scam, but because it's being promoted on apps that are mostly used by kids, I mean, obviously there was going to be some kids falling for this. And I think mostly, you know, not a lot of people probably got, you know, their credit card information stolen from ads like this. However, I could definitely see, you know, if you click on it to see what's up, you know, is this legit? It could probably install like malware into your computer and, you know, steal your shit that way. And so that's obviously concerning. However, you can definitely notice that the technology is getting much, much better. And we've actually seen a big problem with this, not only with Mr. Beast, but especially with creators. I've seen a lot of AI generated content with Joe Rogan, which honestly could completely fool me. And mostly what they do is, because the AI generated, you know, face doesn't look very good, they'll splice like real content with fake content so it looks completely real. And people have even brought up the problem that, you know, there's a lot of clip channels that take clips from either Mr. Beast or like Joe Rogan and, you know, and put their own ads in it, that kind of thing. And that's kind of how they make money. So can you imagine like 5 years down the line when AI generated content is really good and there's these clip channels that completely re-upload like a Mr. Beast video or a Joe Rogan podcast, and instead of, you know, Joe Rogan or Mr. Beast normal ad placement promoting like an app or something for people to download, imagine they change that to completely AI generated content. Then I think it would actually fool a lot of people, you know. If they only make like one section of a real video AI generated content, I could easily see a lot of people falling for this. And we've had some other problems with AI generated content. If you don't remember, a couple months back, this streamer called Erototic was actually exposed for watching like deepfake porn, like big Twitch streamers, which was, I mean, at the time it was kind of funny, but I think it's a lot more troubling when you realize what these, you know, fake porn things are actually doing. You know, they're taking just like normal videos on the hub and fucking plastering celebrities and Twitch streamers' faces on it. Now, initially, I don't think that's overly a big problem. Obviously, that's for the more degenerates on the internet. However, I've definitely seen this used in some very questionable ways. Like, I'm sure this could be used for some very illegal things, if you catch what I'm saying. And I definitely think that's going to be. And then there was that situation with that Drake song I mentioned in the beginning, where there's this Drake song that was completely AI generated that blew up on TikTok, and it got posted everywhere, and that it was completely copyright stricken from Drake's like Universal group or whatever it's called, you know, their label. And so we've seen a lot of problems with this AI generated content over the last couple months, and I think it's honestly just going to keep getting worse. Now, obviously, for the more chronically online people such as myself, it's very easy to tell when something looks off or is off. Like, of course, watching that Mr. Beast, you know, advertisement, of course, someone like me who knows Mr. Beast knows that's completely fake. But imagine people who only look at the internet like only a couple times a week or maybe like a couple times a month. You could easily fall for that kind of shit. And think about the implications when it comes to like politics. I mean, you guys remember seeing those AI clips of Joe Biden, fucking Barack Obama, and Donald Trump playing Minecraft together. Now, obviously, that's harmless fun, and it's pretty good now. But imagine, you know, 5 years in the future when you can make a video of Joe Biden or whatever look completely realistic and him say some crazy shit, you know, oh, I'm gonna nuke the world or some crazy shit. Like, this could have some real serious problems. I'm just thankful that Mr. Beast actually addressed it. And so for the next few years, guys, just be very, very careful online. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Mr. Beast won't, unfortunately, give you an iPhone 15 for $2. I'm sorry to tell you. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. The other day, we made a video about how Doja Cat has been being canceled by the entire internet for wearing a Sam Hyde shirt. This is a crazy video you're not going to want to miss. Click here to watch it now.